Outer Orange.
Welcome back, fam. It's hot, so that's why my hair keeps curling. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, guys, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about some underrated decks that I think can shine. Not they're insane, but we're basically just going to talk about decks that aren't the meta picks. Just some really cool options that you can do, especially if you already have the deck. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, fam, here we are. It should come to no surprise that the first deck we're going to start with Direful Dolls. But first, just keep in mind the deck log is right here, but also have it on the video as well. So just something to look out for. But anyway, again, I want to make it clear, I'm not trying to say like these decks are insane. I'm just saying like they're actually some that are, I think, can perform, or they're just really underrated. No one's playing them, so you might just get like an, like an off chance there of like people not knowing what you're doing type of thing. I am starting with Direful Dolls because I think the deck's absolutely kind of correct actually right now. It's just a little underrated in my opinion. But anyway, this is Direful Dolls. It got a lot of support the set, and also got this new promo as well on top of that last month. So we got a little bit of an upgrade. I think the deck's smoother now, it's more consistent, it's deck thins more, it just does more for everything. I just definitely think it's a lot better. And this is kind of my version. I will say it's not my favorite version. I kind of like the energy blast cards that every deck likes to have in their decks. I also like the Shenri code. I think she's really good as well. It's just kind of hard finding space for everything. And now this deck is very early aggro too. You can kind of like swing tri-lane now a little bit easier. So it's kind of hard to say if I really want the Shenri codes or not, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is the build I'm kind of messing around with for now, and you can check it out. Basically, this deck is just a lot of doll deck. There's a lot of thinking involved. This is definitely not an easy piloted deck. I know I mentioned this level. This is definitely one of the harder ones to pilot. So be on the lookout for this deck. If you already have the pieces, all you really need is this new grade 1. She's really, really good. She lets you look for dolls, and then also she lets you add more power to the board on your persona turns. This deck's really biggest weakness is not finding persona. So I do recommend still running the Chalice if you can, but Twin Cast is also a good alternative. And then other than that, you're really just playing the doll engine. You want to swing with your multi attacker. You want to be able to find as much as you can while having access to a ton of shield. You also have this new counter charge that's really good from a couple sets ago. And then really, this is also a card you can cut back on and run energy cards over. I'm actually not a big fan of this card anymore. I don't think it's that's needed. The CV is so important in this deck that it actually matters when you want to counter boss with this or not, that sometimes you just don't. You really just use it for the 20k beater that it becomes. But in my opinion, I think this is like one of the weakest cards in the deck right now, so you could easily make this something else. It's just, it's just targets. You want to hit cards, and this is definitely still a target, and that's probably the best reason to run it. But otherwise, I really don't like this card. Also, keep in mind, running the heals and the triggers, I do think you still want to have them, but you don't necessarily need them as much anymore because we're not running the grade 1 Unica card, but you still can. It's still a really good card to run. It's another thing I've been thinking about replacing this doll with. There's a lot of like small adjustments basically you can make with this deck, but overall, really fun deck, really cool. Definitely check it out. It's pretty cheap too, so this is definitely a good alternative pick, and I promise you'll probably get some games through. This deck actually isn't bad, especially if Levy gets hit. I think its biggest weakness is Levy and Raziel, but if they ever like get tapped or whatever, you can definitely play this deck pretty freely. Next, we have Flam G. Flam G got a lot of good support the last couple sets and just keeps getting support every set. One of the new cards that got this set was the Drummer, and the Drummer is another card name that's really important, by the way, that has another card name because we have this insanely good grade 2. This is Geraldine. Geraldine's nuts. She basically says counterblast, look at top cards, as many cards on top of your deck as you have Flam G cards on the board. It does not care about the name, like the different names or whatever. They just have to be on the board. So if you have like 6 on the board, you can check top 6. It's pretty nuts. You basically get to just add whatever, and then she also makes all your Flam Gs 13k bases, which makes magic numbers for the turn. Really crack card. It makes your deck, this deck's really freaking fast. Like insanely fast. This deck's biggest weakness is shield. That's why I'm running a little bit of protection and a little bit of this draw engine. This can be fronts if you want. It really doesn't matter. Just keep in mind your attack pattern can be kind of awkward sometimes where the fronts don't really come up as much. The draws will be better in that instance, but in terms of shield value, the fronts are better. I'm kind of been tossing back and forth between draws or fronts, but you can run whichever one you want. Run the yellow T. I think the yellow T is the best one in this one. The pull retire really hurts a lot of decks, so you can just win off of it. Also draws you a bunch of cards. Just don't deck out. You can deck out with this deck sometimes. Unironically, you deck in so much, you actually can deck yourself out. So be careful with that. Running Guitar Girl, which is really, really good. You can cut back on some cards. Like this card isn't necessary. It's good. It's just not necessary. You can run something else in the slot as well if you really need more protection, or if you want to just run more Flam G cards. That's perfectly fine. I will say, out of all the Flam G cards, I would not cut this one out. The counter charge is way too important in this deck to cut this out. You can, but the early aggro and calling into the board early is just really important. So I would not cut that one if you had to pick a card to cut. And that's basically it. That's kind of this one. I'm still experimenting with ratios and stuff like that. There's a bunch of different ways to kind of experiment on how you want to approach the deck. I think, like I said, its biggest weakness is really shield. Otherwise, this deck's nutso. Next, we have Magnolia. I think this is a super undercooked deck right now. I think the code is just not cracked on this deck yet. There's like a grade 4 version, there's a mask version, there's version. I definitely think that this deck can cook. It's just hard to figure out how to cook it. Like there's a lot. I've seen one grade 4 list that was like really whack-a-mole, like a bunch of one-ofs, which makes sense. It was a Japanese list. Makes sense where a grade 4 deck can get away with that. The grade 4s weakness is the fact that you can't just appear right into the grade 4 as easily as you can with other grade 4 decks. I actually think that deck's good. The downside is the fact that you have to wait a turn, and sometimes you just don't find the card that you need and you're just kind of stuck on the this Maggie, which is fine, but the grade 4 one is, in my opinion, a little bit better. But anyway, you can kind of experiment. This is the grade 3 version with the Persona Ride version. Actually, this deck's really good. I think this got a lot of sauce behind it. If you check the AOT, you kind of just win on the spot with the teddy bear. Teddy bear is nuts. I also run the backup Geberg just in case I really want to just annoy my opponent to hell. This card's really good because it has the super big guard restrict on it, and you can teddy it to make it really big and your opponent just can't block it. It's really funny. And then we also have the Persona card that also lets you find Magnolia cards. This deck's weakness is definitely the fact that it has to Persona in order to win the game, because the Persona is the you just really need it. It gives a lot of power to everything, and it's just really important. And if you don't Persona Ride, you kind of just lose, and that's like the downside. But this deck did get an upgrade. I think it's significantly better, so keep on the lookout for this deck. I actually think it's kind of saucy. You can also run Inlet if you really want to. I don't know if I fancy the Inlet, but you can put it in here if you really need the additional soul or the additional draw. You can get away with that as well. Next, we have the Wascaria deck. I don't play this deck, I'll be honest with you guys. I've just really wanted to showcase it because it's definitely a really underrated deck, and it got a lot of new support. It's really the deck people really like, so I wanted to showcase you guys this deck right here. It's got a lot of multi-attacking, got a lot of protection with your blitzes and all that kind of stuff. And then basically we just got like this new guy here that lets you so it lets you soul charge and energy charge. And then we got the new girl as well. Well, I don't want to say it's a girl, I actually don't know. But we got the new butterfly, and she's really, really cool. So I thought I'd showcase this deck because this is one of the prettiest cards that came out this set, and I really wanted to, you know, just emphasize on that. As some people are saying she's kind of okay, the butterfly's kind of okay. She reads really good in my opinion, so another deck to kind of check out. All right, the last deck on the list is the B Hero deck. This is a really, really underrepresented deck in my opinion, but it's really fast. It's very, very strong. It's very hyper aggro. You just kind of have to win like really fast with this deck. You can aggro your opponent on grade 2 very quickly, like with this grade 2 right here. There's a lot to do. I will say we're missing one base. There's a grade 1 base that currently the JP side has that we don't, but doesn't mean you can't play the deck. You did get a bunch of new support. We got the new grade 3 that lets you re-ride basically. We got the new grade 2 that's also really good, that's now 4 of. Also, there's like this little new wolf you can run as well that also has the B Hero engine, and we're basically just kind of sitting on this until we get the grade 1 base. But if you already have the deck, you can actually play it right now. It's like I said, it's very hyper aggro. It's just very, very like kind of similar to Flam G, where you just don't have pieces, and that's kind of like the downside to the deck. But that's really all I have. I just want to showcase these decks right here, just quick 5 video decks to just look into, especially if you already own the decks. A lot of these decks are old, they've been around for a little bit, so you probably already have these cards somewhere lurking around. And I do think there's some room to say that these decks are pretty decent enough to where you could probably test them and take them to an event if you really wanted to. But just letting you know, just be mindful of what you're getting yourself into. Blackmire and Bob are still insane. On that, guys, I also wanted to do one honorable mention, which is Orphist. I'll show you guys a picture of Orphist right here of the deck that I'm currently trying out right now. We're one card away from the deck being absolutely insane, so be on the lookout for it. The grade 1 did come out this set. We just have to wait for the promo now. Basically a complete deck, so be on the lookout for that. That one's really, really exciting. And other than that, guys, if you like this kind of content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I do my best to give you guys the content that I enjoy to give, and I try my best to give as much advice as I can give as I'm doing all these. Like I said, a lot of really fun stuff this set, really fun stuff to enjoy for set 8. So I hope you guys are enjoying it out there. BSF is obviously currently going on, so check out that. On that, guys, 50cards.shop, code orange if you need anything for supplies. All these cards I'm showcasing you guys, he has a lot of these cards. You can use code orange to save yourself some money. Also, if you need supplies, bcwsupplies.com. You can use orange 10 to save yourself some money. All this stuff is on below this video right now. You can look there and see what's going on. And now, guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all the support. Hope you guys enjoyed all of this, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Bye.